As technology becomes more pervasive across society, across business, even through to line of business departments and us as everyday consumers, what does that mean for those digital, those data, and those technology leaders who are charged with kind of getting their arms around those technology estates, but have also seen their influence and their responsibilities grow quite significantly over the last 5 years, often beyond the typical confines of what an IT leader looks like? I want to start, first of all, in terms of how perceptions of technology leaders have changed in your times in industry. Karl, how would you describe yourself as a leader today, and how might that be different to perhaps 5 or 10 years ago?
So I think what has changed is that kind of perception internally, I think, about the back office just being there as an order taker running the internal tech to being much more an integral part of the business. And I think that's kind of shifted over my career. It's all been about now is much more about how are we adding value to the organization, and where are we at in terms of having those conversations? Because unless you're not having the conversations, you can't add any value.
I've seen it change an awful lot, actually. To be honest, I don't think I'd be sitting here doing this job now if it hadn't been for the massive changes in technology. But I have, customer at my heart, if you like. And the reason that these kind of opportunities have opened up for people like me is because we don't have to worry about what's going on under the hood anymore.
But I think it's interesting because there has been this change, and we went through an era of you had to speak the language of the business, whatever that is. I've always been in a business. I didn't know it had a different language. You had to present yourself in a different way. And actually now it's great to be a geek. Actually, tech, if you can tell the story well, tech at the boardroom is amazing.
I think Ian said we're business leaders.
Yeah.
It's I think the most valuable skill for me as a CIO was listening, which is a bit difficult when you're at the start of your career. You're ambitious, and that increasing understanding of the complexity. And I think the title is technology is ubiquitous. Yes, and we moved from shadow IT to business-led IT. Then we look at is it IT? It's now shadow AI or business-led AI, etc. So you have to adapt, and I think we're all getting all the wiser and a bit more chilled. Yeah, so not everything is just as important and urgent.
Any questions at this point? Don't let me. Yeah, Sam, if we can get a microphone to Sam.
I like lots of movies, and I notice in all the futuristic movies I've ever seen how wrong they've got it. Terminator 2020, I mean, we're in 24, we haven't got any of that. What I'm interested in, and I know we're looking at, what it means for digital leaders, all this ubiquitousness, and really what I'm interested in from yourselves is, what is it not that you think we're getting right for the future? What is it that you think we're getting wrong right now?
I think one of the things that we consistently get wrong is, and it's not necessarily getting it wrong, it's just a lack of awareness. There is situation and context to everything we do as leaders. And very often, and it kind of comes to this, we will standardize. It's dogma where an understanding of situation and context is really, really important. In terms of ubiquitous technologies, the leadership team you work with, your colleagues, now understand technology. They understand it enough. They don't understand the depths of it, but they understand it enough. The breadth at which there is a knowledge and understanding and acceptance of technology is wider than it's ever been. The depth is still not there. And that's where we have to come in and fill the gap.
Yeah, and that's the relationship building part of the role, right? That's the getting away from the disconnect between back office and front office, or whatever you want to term it. So that's fine. They're going to come up with loads of ideas, and we get on to the shadow IT stuff, but that exists probably because of the stuff that you just kind of mentioned and talked about. Computer says no, therefore we're going to find another way of doing it. We've all been there many times where we say, well, we can't do that because it's not on our release schedule and blah, 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 whatever else. And then you find out that they've already done it.
I think the thing we get wrong is that we try to shut things down. It's our natural inclination. I think we go, no, I mean, this is AI. It's kind of like, this is the Wild West, isn't it? Everybody's going to go and start putting lots of personal data up there and building big, large language models, and don't even think about trying to shut it. You won't. So I think our focus really needs to be on innovation and actually really putting your back behind the grassroots innovation that is coming up, but whilst working on behaviour change. So really just giving people some really basic guardrails around, what it means to be handling that kind of data.
Yeah.
Maybe can I add what I find myself keep doing wrong at the personal level is I learned success equals quality times acceptance. And I think throughout my career, even now, I find myself, rolling the sleeves up and getting the quality right, lifting the quality, and leaving that acceptance on the side. How do we reframe as technologists? Maybe it's just not myself. Maybe some resonates with somebody else in the room. But how do we focus on acceptance and that taking it into broad organizations?
And I love the analogy that you have to you write your own team in pen, and when you go to the board, you have to write in crayon. But the storytelling part of it, I think, is really, really important. Stories bring situations to life. If you've been the wrong side of any kind of cyber incident, and I'm sure you know them as well as anybody, it's not the detail of the technology impact of that attack or that breach. It's all about the impact it has on the people, on your customers, on the organization, on the environment. So the storytelling around that side is really, really powerful.
If you're looking for a role and you're worried about what the actual job title is, don't be. Worry about what levers you've got to pull in the organisation. Where you are in relation to the rest of the exec, and because otherwise, what's the point of you? Really, you are there to create that change. You're a figurehead for that.
But like Karl, I've had a C in my title. And I've worked for the CEO and not been on the board. And I've worked for CEOs and been on the board. I had the most fun when I worked for the CEO and I wasn't on the board. And the reason was that I was abstracted away from a lot of nonsense. And I talked to a lot of CIOs who go, I want to be on the board. I want to be on the board. Do you know what happens at a board meeting?
I had 2 roles on a board and 2 roles reporting to CFO. And I can, again, different experience. And it shows you we are all it's very individual, not one size fits all. I had very different conversations. When you are in every executive meeting there is, it is different conversations you're driving. Your team can get from you a sense of purpose and connecting to what the outcomes are.
I agree.